So we're here with RSG Boxing Moment here, live here. I think I might have been talking on the screen. We're trying to get here in the new RSG studios. I got my man Darnell in the building. I think I might have had the mic not hot right here. You know, it's early Saturday morning. A lot of boxing going on. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing fine, man. Tough loss yesterday, but you know, the sun gonna come up in the morning. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm ready to talk some boxing.
All right, we gonna really get in here, talk some boxing here. It feels good. We got a lot going on. Well, you and I didn't get a chance to really first here in the in the first part of our show together here. We're gonna be in this opening round. We want to talk a little bit about what happened with my man Pacquiao and Ugas. You and I last time we were on the show uh, did a preview of that fight. Um, Ugas came out, prevailed. Was very busy. Pacquiao looked a little sluggish, but I know you got some opinions on that fight. You know, um, what did you think about Ugas's performance? What do you think about Pacquiao in terms of how he performed and what his next move is going to be?
Shoot, man. I think Ugas put on a great performance. He um he controlled range, he controlled distance, and he controlled Pacquiao. I mean, Pacquiao didn't look like the same Pacquiao that he's been looking in the last couple fights. You could say it was ring rust. He's been out the ring for 2 years. You could say it's age, but you got to give credit where credit's due. I mean, Ugas, he came in there, he did his job. He stuck the jab out there all night. He was throwing that looping right hand that looked like Manny Pacquiao just didn't have an answer for. So hats out to Ugas, and let's see what this leads to in the welterweight division.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of uh, uh, jam there. There's a lot of great potential fights, but everybody's standing on the other side of the street, looking at each other, trying to do that. What do you see as we got obviously we have Spence Jr. who was supposed to fight, having the eye injury. What are your prospects? What do you think um, is going to happen with Spence Jr. as we look at his prospects of trying to recover from a detached retina?
Well, and so with that, it just depends on his health. Like, how soon can he come back? I hope he doesn't try to rush it. I mean, it's a serious injury, of course, and it's something that can derail you for the rest of your life. It's just not boxing. Like,
Mhm.
that's a vision that you're dealing with. So, if it takes him a year, if it takes him more than that, if it takes him, yeah, that the times his timetable is really what's going to affect us. And on top of that, how often is Terrence Crawford going to fight, and is Terrence Crawford going to leave Top Rank after his next fight?
Mhm.
That's a big thing because if Crawford beats Porter, a logical fight would be Crawford versus Ugas, and then the winner of that fight will have two belts, and then Errol Spence will also have two belts, and then the winner of those could just meet head up. But you know how the politics of boxing works. So if Terrence Crawford is on the wrong side of the street per se, if he's on the wrong side of the street in the eyes of the powers that be, maybe he doesn't get the Ugas fight, and then now we got to do this whole song and dance that we've been doing for the last 4 years. So that's really those are the two main dominoes. Where is the health of Errol Spence Jr.? How fast can he recover? And what is the situation looking like with Terrence Crawford and Top Rank?
As you begin to, and I'm trying to get my little
Oh, your camera's on
yeah.
backwards.
Yeah, it's not flipping on me today. The thing is trying to mess with me all day today. So I'm gonna go to this other view, see if we can take that out here. Um, when you think about uh, some of the upcoming talent, I know you want to talk about a little bit of Oscar Valdez, I believe you want to talk about, and just some things that are involved. I mean, there's a lot of different opportunities for fights that we see in. We have some up and coming fighters, but I know you want to. Was it Oscar Valdez? I think you want to try to chime in on.
Oh yeah, something happened last week with Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez was going to fight this dude named Robinson Concial, I think his name is. It
Mm-hmm.
was just like I don't think it's a mandatory. I think it's just like a some kind of homecoming fight, probably. Like after he got his great performance against Miguel Berchelt, a fight that I didn't expect him to win. I thought Berchelt was going to walk him down and beat him up for the whole fight because if you watched Valdez in his last days at 126, he wasn't looking too good. Like he was getting into wars, he was getting beat up. Like he was winning fights, but it was fights that he would have to win through attrition. And I thought that style was going to be all wrong for him against Berchelt. And when he fought Berchelt, he moved. It's not like he was running, but he was moving. He used a lot of lateral movement, and he was punching. He had great energy, and he had a great work rate. I mean, and it was an amazing performance by Oscar Valdez. But last week he tested positive for a performance enhancing drug named it's called fentanyl. And Victor Conte, which if anybody knows who Victor Conte is, he's the guy over. He was the guy with Balco, with the steroid scandal in baseball. But why is Victor Conte relevant? Victor Conte also has been in the sport of boxing over the last 4 or 5 years. They say he says he's reformed, but you know how that works. But to make a long story short, he said that fentanyl, like he said, he's personally given athletes fentanyl because it helps you breathe. You know what I'm saying? It's a stimulant, pretty much. It's a stimulant. It helps you it gives you energy. It helps you breathe. Gives you a little more stamina. So like that, I can see. Even though he didn't test positive for that after the Berchelt fight, maybe he was on it, but they was able to cycle off, or they knew how to hide it or mask it. So that just leads to more questions because Oscar Valdez, he trains at the in the Reynoso gym with Canelo, also with Ryan Garcia, also with Luis. I believe Luis Neri was in there at some point. And they had another fighter. I forgot his name. That fights in the lower weight classes, but they've all tested positive. All people haven't tested positive. I'm sorry. Ryan Garcia has never tested positive, and neither has Andy Ruiz. But with Canelo, with Oscar Valdez, the other guy's name is escaping me, but with them testing positive in the same gym, it leads to questions like, is this? Yeah, well, because last year we did our award show.
Yeah,
Eddie Reynoso was my trainer of the year.
Yeah, you had him as your trainer of the year. Yeah,
you got to question that. You have to question it. I mean, what are they doing? Like, because
yeah, we going after Bonds. We going after Bonds, right?
Yeah, you know what it reminded me of? The fight. You remember Billy Joe Saunders when he fought David Lemieux?
Yeah.
It was a master class boxing of boxing, and because this is a counter to people. People say, well, he didn't take like steroids or anything, but boxing is a sport of fluidity. It's a lot more to it than just brute strength. So like you saw, Billy Joe Saunders has never looked the same since that one fight. Because after that fight, the next because he was signed up to fight Demetrius Andrade, and he tested positive for oxyflurane. And he said it was in a nasal spray. And pretty much it's the same type of deal. Like it opens you up, it helps you breathe and stuff like that. And if he wasn't and since he got tested positive for that, he hasn't looked the same. So it just leaves the questions about Valdez. Like Valdez, he was in negotiations to fight Jamel Herring, and Jamel Herring actually he's going to fight Shakur Stevenson soon. So like the winner of that is expected to fight Valdez, but are we going to get the same Valdez if that fight materializes? It's just things to think about. But the craziest thing about this is they had a hearing about it, and the WBC, well, first of all, the athletic commission has decided to allow the fight to go on. So the fight will be going on September 10th. They will be fighting on September 10th. But so the fights are able to go on, and Valdez is going to keep his belt. You know what I'm saying? He will not be punished for this. So that's just like, wow. But with the WBC, and it's weird to me because the WBC, they they have the clean boxing program sponsored by VADA, right? If why would they not go off of the ruling that VADA provided? Because if you look at the actual hearing, they said WADA, the World Athletic Doping Association, they deem it illegal in competition, but legal out of competition. What that means is when you're in competition, that means the day of the fight or the day of competition. So around that 24-hour window. So out of competition, they said it's legal, but in competition, it's illegal. But WADA, they test for everything.
Yeah.
So why would you be leaning on WADA, which you're not using right now, instead of using VADA, who you sponsor? You got everybody that's ranked by the WBC is in the VADA clean testing program. So I'm just I know why. I know why, but it's just a question for the listeners. Just ask yourself, why would they do that?
Well,
You have anything to add on to that?
well, I mean, it's we be crooks, as you famously told us on the show and brought that back. But James Tony, I own Ann Arbor's own James Tony. It's they're going to do whatever they need to do to protect the NFL. We should talk about protect the shield, to protect to protect the bag, and to you know, especially when you're talking about a gym where you have your most uh, lucrative fighter, Canelo, and all these like if this were happening in Floyd's gym, they'd be questioning everything Floyd's ever done. You're not, and
Or Derrick
yeah,
James with Earl Spence and
yeah,
Jamel Charlo and all them. Or
yeah.
Bomac Jim with Jamel Herring, Terrence Crawford, like all them. Like, yeah, they would be
We be,
shoot. Like,
be outside the lines.
yeah, there's getting well. To be honest, there is traffic. Like,
Yeah.
if you go on boxing Twitter, everybody's talking about it. But
Hmm.
the well, me, it's the media types. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The actual like big media type, like the Michael Coppingers,
Yeah. Yeah.
the Dan Raphaels, the Steve
Yeah.
Kim, the Dougie
Yeah.
Fisher. They would be talking about it. You know what I'm saying? If it was Earl Smith, they'd be on it.
Yeah. It,
And
it, it,
Doug's our guy, but still,
we be on outside the lines, right?
yeah.
Be on
Yeah, if it was
outside.
Deontay Wilder knocking people out and then he tested positive for a PED, can you imagine what they'll say? They'll be like, man, they should put this man in jail. Oh,
You hit it right on the head, brother. You hit it right on the head. You hit it right on the head. We're entering the middle rounds now. We about to move towards these championship rounds. There's some fights to be made, man. There's some fights to be made. I'm we ever grow this thing to a point where we can start to take over the game. We can get you in as that promoter, help us set the fight. Maybe we start our own streaming service where we actually promote folks that sneak up on us. You actually know they're
yeah.
gonna be fighting. Um, there's some fights to be made, man. What fights do you think are gonna be made? What fights should people be looking forward to coming up here? If they're not really
Well,
paying like
looking
that non insider boxer. What fights should they be taking looking forward to?
shoot. So you got like I already said, we have Jamel Herring versus Shakur Stevenson coming up
That's gonna be a great
in
fight, man.
October. It's gonna be and they know each other,
Yeah.
and it's always interesting when they know each other. The camps know each other.
Mm-hmm.
They've worked together. You know, they've been in the gym together. They've been sparring together. They
Mm-hmm.
got a lot of mutual friends. So that's the interesting part about this. Like Andre Ward is cool with both of them. Terrence
Mm-hmm.
Crawford is cool with both of them. Like, yeah, they all know. Like the people around them, they know each other. And you got another fight that just got agreed to with Caleb Plant and Canelo Alvarez.
So that's
That's
gonna
for
be
that's for all the marbles. That's what we
yeah.
want to see. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be an interesting clash of styles because you got a guy in Caleb Plant that's the boxer. He's the mover. He's slick. You know what I'm saying? He's a good defensive fighter, and you have Canelo who he has skills. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He can make you miss too, but he's a pressure fighter. He's going to bring a pressure to Caleb Plant that Caleb Plant hasn't seen yet, and
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Mm-hmm.
And another fight, um, our guy, my guy Stephen Fulton, man. This is a guy. It's not going to be a mainstream fight that everybody know about, but this is a guy you should know about. Stephen Cool Boy Steph Fulton. He's fighting against Brandon Figueroa, the younger brother. The I don't know if he's younger, but I think he is younger. But I know he's shorter for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
he's in the smaller weight class. But Brandon Figueroa, he's a really tough fighter. He can punch. He has a good work rate. Well, he's Oscar. He's Oscar. He's Omar Figueroa's brother, so you already know he's coming with the action. So that's going to be another really good fight down in the lower weight classes. You got Cool Boy Steph versus Brandon Figueroa. That's going to be one to watch, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. And we gonna make sense of this heavyweight division at some point.
I hope so. I mean, is shoot, you never know. Tyson Fury might catch the variant or something. It's gonna be fight week, and they said he has fought. Tyson Fury he will not be able to fight because he has contracted the Delta plus streaming service COVID-22. I was like, man, shoot. Oh, that
Uh-oh. See Tyson something they came in
that
WBC,
reminded
that
me.
came in and see the WBC trying to come in and cut your mic off, man. See, you up here messing around. You up here, they almost trying to take you out.
Oh man. Yeah,
Leon
we got
Brooks came
Joshua
in.
Usyk.
Huh?
I said we have Joshua versus Usyk. That's going to be another interesting one
That's
because
and
Usyk hasn't. Yep.
Usyk don't mess around. And Joshua's chin, he like something. He ain't quite out of the Glass Joe category yet.
Yeah, but I don't know if how Usyk really stacks up at heavyweight because he hasn't
Yeah,
really looked good at heavyweight.
no.
Because he's a smaller guy. Even though in the amateurs he's beaten guys that fought at heavyweight, like he beat Michael Hunter and stuff like that. So like um he's gonna pose a threat to Anthony Joshua. It depends on if he gets hurt or not. Like
Yeah,
if Anthony Joshua can hurt Usyk, I think he got him for sure. But
yeah,
if it's just if Usyk can keep it as like a boxing match, just like a when I say boxing match, obviously it's a boxing match. But you
mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? When I say a boxing match, I mean like the amateur style where you just everybody's just trying to look for points. You know what I'm saying? If it's that kind of party, I think Usyk brings big problems to Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, because
And
he's
this guy,
not like a Holyfield coming up, figuring out how to
no,
bring power with him, and and have that pop. He's not that. If he had some of that, he'd be really hurting them. Um, but just some of that. There's nothing like to just keep him off. You got to have a keep him off you punch. That's what I always said about Floyd. People talk about Floyd, but what Floyd always has is a keep you off him punch. Because you see, cats don't really want to rush in on him. If Floyd got enough pop to make you think, but he ain't gonna knock you out, maybe. But he got enough pop to make you think, and Usyk needs that enough pop to make you think, kind of pop, and that's the part. It'd be interesting, but you know, this heavyweights is big guys, right angles.
Yeah.
Never know what happens. When movement meets a fist coming at you, that power gets amplified with somebody who knows how to throw and has good technique and good timing.
I
So
think Usyk got. I think Usyk has just keep him off on power. I
yeah,
mean, I don't think he's gonna knock him out one punch, but at the same time, he still has the power to.
the accumulation.
He's not even gonna run
Yeah,
in there. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Yeah.
And that's how you're gonna have to just win. That's how you're gonna have to win at the heavyweight. I'm gonna take you to the deep water and break you down. Right? I'm a Andre Ward you. I'm just gonna punish
Yeah.
you. I'm gonna make you pay for everything, and then I'm gonna take you home. Yeah, that's how he has to. If he gets that in his head, he could be a problem child because he's a
Yeah, and I'm. Yep.
yeah.
Also, and I'm not sure about this, but I heard through the grapevine that Anatoly Lomachenko is back in the equation. I
Okay.
think I heard Anatoly is Vasyl Lomachenko's dad, and he's Lomachenko's trainer, obviously, but
Mhm.
he is in the mix with Usyk for this camp, and he's gonna get some training from Loma. So that's another element because that footwork. The Ukrainians they know how to move their feet, and that's
Yeah.
going to be interesting because
Yeah.
um, uh, most of Joshua's opponents that I can remember
Mhm.
had just been straightforward guys. He fought guys like Dillian White. He fought guys like uh, Chisora,
Mhm.
Joseph Parker, Povetkin. These guys are not like guys that move around a whole lot. Andy Ruiz is not a guy that's going to move around a whole lot.
Yeah.
How does he handle a guy that can out angle him? You know what I'm saying? And what if he's not always in position to punch? What if he can keep Anthony Joshua off balance and out of position? I mean, these are questions that need to be answered, and it honestly it can prepare you a little bit for Tyson Fury in the future because
Yeah.
Tyson Fury is going to box you. He's going to try to give you angles and stuff like that, but it's going to be way different than Tyson Fury. It's a different animal, but it's yeah, I'm going to be looking forward to this fight.
All right. As we get down to the you know uh, championship uh, rounds of this discussion, where we going we want to just focus in on you and let you kind of take us home. You always gotta have we've often closed out a little bit with our Mount Rushmore of boxing. Meaning like these active fighters that you kind of like. These are prime time folks that we need to look at. I'm gonna change this up a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
you got to because when you say Mount Rushmore, in my opinion, Mount Rushmore don't change. Mount Rushmore of boxing will always and forever be Sugar Ray
I
Robinson,
but
Henry
Doug, man, I
Armstrong,
you always want to say that.
Muhammad
We
Ali.
had to switch to that because you remember Dougie didn't feel comfortable with the pound for pound conversation, so we try to come at it from another angle. Maybe you and I got to think about the best way to frame that. So let's go. I'll go pound for pound then. Which can
Pound for pound.
let's go with your pound for pound, your top four pound for pound right now. Let's go back to the old school. Who are those? Who are those? Who's on your? Let's say there's a lot of names on pound for pound list. Let's flip this up a little bit. Who should be in a pound per pound conversation that most people don't think about as a pound per pound conversation kind of person? That opens it up a little bit. People that you just think like this person's doing it, he don't get enough love, or you know what I'm saying?
That's a tough question because the people I talk to is the people that I talk to hardcore boxing fans, so I don't know who who's really out there that's not in there because Josh Taylor, he's on the back end of pretty much everybody's pound for pound list, but he
He should
should
be
come up
higher.
more in the
Higher. Like
conversation.
not somebody that
Yep.
they don't think about him like a Crawford or someone like that, but
Yeah.
he mad skills, man. When I saw him, you're talking, I was like, this guy is for real. And we don't hear him a lot. So yeah, that's a person that I would say, he not getting enough love. And he might create some arguments, but when you watch him fight, you be like, oh, maybe you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
Josh, that's a great example. Give me one or two more.
Teofimo Lopez is a name that's out of sight, out of mind because
Yeah,
he hasn't been fighting recently because he got COVID. But
yeah,
yeah, he beat the guy. I mean, Lomachenko was always
yeah,
up there, so he's the guy that beat the guy. I mean,
yeah.
he has to be in the conversation to me.
Mm,
And Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo is a guy that he's fighting everybody. He's the guy. He's doing what
I
you
call
want
him
to see.
scared. I
Even
call him never scared.
yeah, um, he fought to a draw with Castano, so that's going to drop him from a lot of guys' list. Well, lower him down for a little bit, but um, I don't have him falling too far off of my list.
Mhm.
But he's got to be in the mix somewhere.
Yeah, them Charlos ain't playing. You know,
Yeah,
they come in. If you ain't coming hard in the paint, they coming hard in the paint. They coming hard with it. Well, man, hey, it's always good to have this conversation. We trying to uplift and share with boxing. I know you and I'll be going back and forth as some of these matches are unveil themselves. I got my little app with my I'm always trying to uh, uh, score the fights. Now that you got me into this boxing thing a little bit, so I appreciate Youngin. Yeah, it's been great to have this journey with you. Uh, y'all can check us out on realsportsguys.com if you want to try to reach us as well. We're all over the social media platforms as well, so make sure that you holler at us. You can catch this video on YouTube as well. You can catch us on Instagram. We're around. We doing this Twitter thing. For you old school cats, we can get us on Facebook. We're a little bit everywhere, but and you can also catch Darnell as well. So we want to check you out on the other side. Hopefully we'll see you at a ring near you. Okay. Peace.
all right. Peace.